it could happen to anyone. The desire to just totally quit your homeschool curriculum, toss it in the trash, buy something fresh, and just start over with a fresh, clean slate. I'm Rachel from 7 and All, and today I'm going to be talking about reasons to quit your homeschool curriculum. And we're going to be evaluating all of these different reasons that may come up at any time in your homeschool journey. We're going to evaluate when, this is a good reason to quit. And some other reasons that, maybe that's not such a good reason to quit. Maybe it's time to keep on chugging along. Okay, reason number 1 to quit your curriculum. Number 1. Quit your curriculum if you, mom, teacher, hate it. That's the reason. That's just the reason. I just hate using this. I dread getting it out every day. It's annoying. I hate the little character that's like teaching my kids to read. It just rubs me the wrong way for whatever reason. I would evaluate this as a very good reason to quit your curriculum. Because teacher motivation, homeschool mom motivation is very important. And if there's just something about what you're doing, something about the procedure, the process, or something, curriculum can get to the point where you just kind of hate everything about this. Maybe it's not 100% reasonable, but if you are dreading waking up to use that curriculum, that's probably a good enough reason to just quit it, get something else. Because your motivation, your excitement for learning and for homeschool can change the total mood of your homeschool. Related to this reason, but not exactly the same, is what if your kid totally hates the curriculum? And here I would say, maybe quit it. Here you have to know your kid. And as a homeschool mom, you have a lot of chances to know your kid. 1, is your kid the kind of kid that hates everything and has more of that general just attitude that they're gonna hate school no matter what? If that's the case, then buying a new curriculum for them is probably not gonna solve the problem. On the other hand, is your child a generally highly motivated learner, someone who loves school, is excited about it, but they have this one curriculum and they're just like, I hate this is dumb, I don't wanna do it, this is a waste of my time. Just on this one specific thing. For that type of thing, especially with an older student, I would definitely drop it and quit it. That is actually exactly what we did this past year with my 15-year-old sister. We quit writing with skill, I think level 3 with her, at her request because she just hated it. She didn't like it. She wasn't learning anything from it. It was just a drag. We're like, what's the point? So we quit it. She's an excellent student, very hardworking, very motivated. She just specifically did not enjoy it and didn't jive with the way that they were teaching writing at all. So we quit. Number 2 reason to quit. And here, it might not be so much quit as set aside the curriculum for now and possibly come back later. This reason is when you realize, possibly a month or so into school, that you have bought work at the wrong level. And this can come in a couple different ways. Sometimes you might end up buying something that's a whole year or 2 below your child where they're at, and it's just too easy for them, so there's kind of no point to keep them doing it. Or especially in the higher grades, once you get to high school, my mom says this is a big risk, you might just kind of you're not maybe sure what should come next, and you just go straight into chemistry or you go straight into physics, but then your child doesn't actually have enough of a math background to jump into those sciences just yet, or maybe they just don't have the mental development for some of the higher maths and sciences. Really, some of those very high analytical subjects, they will thrive if your child's brain is just a little bit more mature. So if you're struggling with teaching a high math or science to a 14, 15-year-old, maybe just push it off for an extra year. You can always, what we have done in the past when we have a young high schooler, we've thrown in an extra year of Algebra 2 to really solidify those skills. Or when we've had a kid who, this kid is gonna get an art degree. We're just not gonna do this super intense calculus or trigonometry or whatever. You got to do some trigonometry, okay? You can't totally skip trigonometry. But we're going to throw in a year of business math here because, you know, you can always have just the plain and simple stuff, you know, either put off higher math and science for a year, give them some time until they'll be more ready and it won't be such a struggle. That's one reason to quit, and you can say that, you know, we don't know everything. Sometimes we buy the wrong level of curriculum. At that point, it's not worth it to struggle through. Get something else. Third reason to quit a curriculum is because you come across a very, very serious disagreement that you have with the way it's teaching or the content of what is being taught. And I would really say this is only really a reason to quit when it's very serious or very much integrated throughout the curriculum. We have had a lot of curriculums that we do not 100% agree with. I actually have very fond memories of my mom teaching through this Bible curriculum, and it felt like on pretty much a weekly basis, she was totally disagreeing with their conclusions about the Bible stories. I distinctly remember with the story of Jesus feeding like the 5,000 or the 4,000 and all the baskets of leftover food. The Bible curriculum said that the lesson from that story was that God is a very organized God. And so it's like being very organized with packaging up the leftovers from that miracle. And Mom was so angry. She's like, that is totally not the point of that story. That's not the point of the miracle, is that God is organized. It was very fun to watch my mom teach so passionately while using a curriculum that she just thought was pretty terrible. We do not still have that curriculum. We have not used it multiple times, but sometimes you can make it work, and you can use something that you disagree with or something that is taught from a perspective that is not the same as your worldview. You can use that and you can help your kids learn through that and think critically. So I wouldn't always quit the curriculum for that reason, but there are times when you quit totally, or there are times when you do it once and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to use that again. Fourth very good reason to quit is it's too boring for you because you've done it too many times. And this is especially a factor for you moms of many. My mom has used the same phonics curriculum through all 8 of us kids in teaching us how to read. And by the end, it was definitely getting a little bit boring for everybody. You know, I've read these same beginner readers so many times. I know them by heart. There are times when, you know, maybe you just want a different phonics curriculum just because, again, teacher motivation, it motivates you. You want to at least read a different basic story about Pat and Matt and the cat and all of that as you're teaching your new reader to read. And that's okay. You can definitely save money by using the same curriculum for all your kids. But there are times when, you know, you're like, man, I got a lot of kids. I've read all these same books before. I just want to read something different. I want some new read alouds because I already know how this one ends. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to sometimes admit that you're just bored. A fifth reason to quit, which I think you'll have to judge whether this one is worth it or not. For YouTubers, homeschool YouTube moms, if you quit a curriculum, especially a really trendy one that a lot of people are big fans of, you can get quite a few views. You might get some dislikes, you might get some, you know, dramatic comments, because this is what passes for drama in the homeschool world, guys. It's quitting a curriculum. That's all we got. You gotta admit, homeschool is not that dramatic. But you might be able to get 10,000, 20,000 views if you quit a really, really trendy curriculum, and, you know, that might be enough to pay for the new curriculum. So that's one reason. I think I'm going to leave it up to you guys to evaluate whether that one is a worthwhile reason or not for a good YouTube video. And then let's talk about when you shouldn't quit your curriculum. Maybe you hate it, maybe it's boring to you, but you realize that it's actually working for your kid. Your kid is learning to read. Your kid is clicking with math, with the way numbers are being taught, with the way number sense is being taught by this curriculum. That's when I would say, you know, teacher motivation matters, but homeschool mom, Sometimes you gotta suck it up and you gotta go with what works for your kid. We don't always have the exact same learning style and teaching style that our kids do. And so if you've picked something and you're just not in love with it, but it's working, it's getting the job done, I would say stick with it. And the other really big reason to not quit everything and start over with new curriculum is when it's not a wise financial choice for your family. Homeschool curriculum can look so pretty on the internet and it can seem like everybody's using it, but there is no magic curriculum out there. If you're struggling in your homeschool, by and large, I would say that a new curriculum is not going to solve all the problems and make everything better and bring you so much joy. I think when you watch a lot of curriculum homeschool videos, it can seem like homeschool curriculum, a good one, the perfect one is the answer, and it's gonna make you happy and it's gonna make your kids happy and it's gonna bring those peaceful Instagram scenes, but I can tell you that it's not. The joy, the peace, that comes from building relationships, that comes from years of character training. It doesn't come instantly. It's a journey. It's never a perfect journey. But when you're trying to heal your homeschool with curriculum, I don't recommend that because you're just going to end up being unsatisfied and hopping from one thing to the next in search of something that curriculum can't give you. Also, when it's not a wise financial choice for your family, don't do it because it's just there is no homeschool curriculum that's worth going into debt for. All of us have different budgets. We can spend different amounts on homeschool. Just spend what makes sense for you, and if you don't have more money to spend on homeschool curriculum, just make what you have work. Even if it's boring, just make it work. You can get something new later on, but finish out the year. There's no reason to put your family into financial stress for a better curriculum. You can get the better curriculum later. I hope that this was an enjoyable video for you. I hope it sparked some ideas for you, and I'd love to continue the conversation with you in the comments that as you guys think about when would you feel most motivated to quit a curriculum? What would really spur you to quit and try something else? Let's talk about it. Let's chat. All right, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.